the position of Imam Ali that they will never be able to leave the hell, the position, they're the worst part of the hell. That they won't be able to. So, actually, that's the question. Is it true that they will never be able to? According to Hadith,
like Hitler or any of those kind of things.
Is it possible? Never?
Even Hitler? My God. It doesn't deserve to come up after what he's done here.
Khalidina fiha means, it's an expression in Arabic that describes a very long period of time. Because khulud has many meanings. One is eternity, the other means a very long time that appears like eternity. Because there's another word in the Quran where Allah says ahqaba. They will remain in hell for a period of time. And the word ahqaba is so because of that fact, the Quran explains this in these terms. Now let us understand one thing. That just because we say that ultimately beings will enter paradise, people will think, oh, well then why worry about anything? You know, do whatever you want, kill people, do whatever. Ultimately you'll enter paradise anyway. No, that's not true. First and foremost, you will pay the price. The law is just. The greater your crime, the more vicious your crime, the longer your punishment. And Imam Ali says, do not hope. Do not even fool yourself into thinking that you go to hell for a short period of time and it will be over. Imam says even the approach to hell is the most terrifying experience. So it's not a question of longevity. It's just the feeling of that punishment is sufficient. So punishment is a necessity, and it will happen. And those who violated the Sharia and those who caused havoc and harm will definitely be punished, 100%. And some of them will be punished for a very long period of time. Remember, long is a relative term because in the scope of infinity time, long, 1 hour in hell, in intensive hell, could be like eternity. Or it could be a trillion years, but a trillion years in the scope of eternity is a second, even less. So what is long? It's a relative frame. Allah is just. The critical question to understand is that can Allah punish you infinitely for a finite misdeed? Some would argue that look, Allah gives you paradise for a finite good deed. Paradise is eternity. There the answer would be the rahmah of Allah. That He's so merciful, He's giving you infinity. But when it comes to adalat, the justice of Allah, that's where the question comes. Can God punish you forever for a crime you committed for a short while? One. Second problem. When you did commit the crime, you did not experience the punishment. So whatever you were doing, it was subject to your frame of understanding. And you knew you were tested, you were evil, you were doing evil things, you were doing bad things. But since Allah creates everybody good, and that evil must have come through experience somewhere, right? And a free will choice. Right. But sometimes we make choices foolishly because we don't know the consequences. Right. But then when we feel the consequence, we don't do that again the same way. Don't you agree? Like for example, we get on the highway, people say, don't drive fast, you could hurt someone. So who cares? Right. Then you drive fast and you get into a terrible accident. You survive, but now you're not going to drive fast. Why? Because you've got an experience now. So what about this person who's committing the evil in this world? He has not experienced the punishment yet. And it's a one-way street. So now you made this mistake, you went to hell, you realize, oops, I made a terrible mistake. So God says, sorry, Charlie, you're going to stay in here forever. The person says, well, where's the justice? I didn't know it was so bad.
Yeah,
so you understand that? So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is probably doing is, wherever this person is going to be, He's going to pay the price accordingly. Allah is too merciful, of course, for that.
Could it be...
No, go ahead.
Could it be the repercussions? Let's say you commit an act and your act affects humanity forever.
Well, there's no such thing as a forever act.
Still judgment thing.
True, but
let's say you launched a nuclear missile and the radiation lasts for 500 years.
Just the consequence of natural order. You do not dictate. It is true. If I do a foolish thing, it may perpetuate for a long period of time, till the day of judgment, and I agree. But I do not necessarily understand those consequences, because no one knows the effects of the future. Only Allah does, right? Even prophets don't know the future until Allah tells them. So, unless I have a full vision of the future, and I have a full vision of the punishment, and I have access to feeling that punishment, now maybe you can hold me more liable. That you could see everything. And you could even feel the punishment. It's almost like a person went to jail. See, it makes more sense, for example, you did a crime. You went to jail. It was horrible. You came out. Now you commit the crime again. I say, you are really crazy. You deserve to go to jail now. Because you saw the punishment. Were you crazy for? Why are you doing this? But what if the person didn't see it? Their judgment is hidden. Heaven and hell is hidden. Okay? We're in a world of trial. And we are survivors. You have to go and earn a living. You have to protect yourself. You have to fight for your rights. Imagine an earthquake takes place. And everybody has to abandon their homes. Now you're in a shelter. All of us. We're all in a shelter. And there's one bathroom. Okay? And food is very scarce. Trust me, all our Islam will fall apart. We're going to survival mode. We'll start stealing from each other. We'll fight, we'll elbow. You ever see poor countries where the grain of rice comes? Everybody's fighting.
Yep.
No one says, no, excuse me, let's stand in line. You go first. No. Before my business, Yallah, you elbow, you go. So what happened to your akhlaq? The guy looks at me, what akhlaq? I'm starving. Excuse me. I've got every right to grab that. In fact, if you don't grab it, the other guy will say, you're crazy, you're going to starve, you're going to die. You've got to run over there and get your food. You notice the mentality? Now, to that person who's committing some of those evil, in his mind, he's in survival mode. He's wrong, he's damaging, he's definitely confused. Okay? And if he really knows, he's really a fool to do it. But let's put all of those into perspective, that the human race is a very interesting creature. That if you take a person and you affect their lives positively from a young age, they grow differently. Look at a tree. What is the natural order of a seed? To grow. But what if the environment is unhealthy? What if you didn't get enough water? The tree will grow sick. It looks sick. Now, does I punish the tree? Does I punish the minerals? What do I punish? The sun? Because there was another big tree standing next to it, and no sun was coming to this tree. So this tree died. It couldn't move anywhere. Do you punish it? Do you kill it? What do you do? Allah says fix the system. But ultimately when it comes to judgment, we don't know. But let's look at the rahmah of Allah. It is highly probable that Allah will not create that being in order for him to be in hell forever. Because it challenges the rahmah of Allah. So that being will enter hell for a long time because he was honored with free will and he abused it. And that's possible. And that's sensible. But it just does not make sense to me for a being to be in hell forever, ever. See, that's the question.
I have a question. I heard a tafsir of Surah Nisa is 97-99, which says that there will be the people of hellfire, the mustadafin of the world. They'll claim to be mustadafin, which means oppressed. And then the angels will ask them, did not Allah make the earth wide enough for
you to migrate?
And then it says those people will go to hell. And then it says, the next verse, 99, says, except for those who were truly mustadafin on the earth.
Correct.
So I've heard that except for those who are truly mustadafin applies to people of all sorts of categories. People who are
Christians, Jews, atheists, mustadaf, confused.
What is the translation of mustadaf? I guess
mustadaf is an oppressed person.
Right, but I mean, like, who qualifies as mustadaf?
Genuinely mustadaf is an innocent being, an innocent person who committed an evil act which does not hold him liable.
I guess on that basis, that's sort of like...
I think the majority of the people on earth are mustadaf. By the way,
and they also, thank you very much for that. So,
you take your, this is for me? How do you know it's mine? You did the
Take
calculation?
a taste and then we'll see. If it tastes good, then it's not your